Hello, fellow cinephiles, and welcome back to yet another episode. Actually, the very last episode of this year, 2023, on the Talk Film to Me podcast, where we talk about films in Kenya and beyond. I'm your host, Nkatha. Let's talk film.
Hey,
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
perfectly well.
So can I. All right.
Beautiful.
Well,
How
I
was
guess now people have already heard your voice. I guess I'll just ask you to introduce yourself and then we'll jump right into it.
right? Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your podcast. Absolute fan of yours, I must say.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, perfect. My name is Brian Mwangi Okabi. My artistic name is Director Superman. That's what I go by. I
Okay,
am,
super fun.
yeah, I'm a film director. As what I major in, I make movies, direct them mostly. Short films at the moment, that's what I've been doing. But also have skills in other areas, cinematography, graphic design, editing, a little bit
Okay,
of lighting here and there. Yeah.
okay. Why are you not telling people that you're IMDb rated?
Oh my goodness! Listen, I was about to, but I guess that was a surprise you delivered quite well, I must say. Yeah.
Okay, then go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Hey.
I'm waiting for you to tell people how you got IMDb rated. So Brian is our guest for today. And like I keep on repeating, he is IMDb rated. Now, if you don't know what IMDb rated is, what are you doing listening to this podcast? Do you know anything about film? So,
Wow.
really, for real, like
Well,
IMDb,
now
maybe you
listen,
explain better to them. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what IMDb really means. Because it's been around for a long time.
A very
Um,
long time, yeah,
yeah, and usually, you hear IMDb, most of the time it was about, Hollywood. And if you wanted to know about whether a film is doing great and
yeah,
who's directed it and who's acted in it, it was sort of
yeah.
like Google for movies, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Because
So,
even right now, if you want to know like the earliest movies made in Kenya, you can
mm,
definitely know about them from IMDb.
no, absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I think it's about. I mean, obviously there's a better definition about it, but if to be honest, I got a call earlier this week
Mm-hmm.
from a producer friend of mine. He's
Mm-hmm.
also an and he's called JB.
Okay.
and, and he's amazing. He gave me a call around a year ago, so that was
Yeah.
2022,
Okay.
and he's a really creative guy. He wanted to do a monologue and
Oh
deliver
wow.
it
Okay.
or deliver it to an audition, or
Yeah.
as part of his response to something he
Yeah.
was doing. But then
Okay.
he just wants to record it on his phone and just like
Mm-hmm.
record load just like that, right? Typically how it's
Yeah.
done. He wanted it
Okay.
to feel and look like a film.
Mm-hmm.
And we initially we worked together on a few projects previously. So he thought of me and he called me. He was like, "Yo, so Brian, I need you to come through. I need you to do this project for me. This is the idea I have. Do you think you can pull
Mm-hmm.
it?" And well, it sounds different because you don't really see monologues turned into films. Uh,
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
so I said, yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. I was willing to accept the challenge, and he sent me the script. I read it. He made it clear because from the very front page, he's it read the title, which is Roses Are Red.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote it as the writer, but he also credits the original writer, who is Janet
Okay.
Steen. Janet B.
Okay.
Miles is the one that wrote it. It was initially part of I don't know if it's a book or a play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of people worldwide have been trying to do that monologue specifically. It's about a doctor and a patient
Uh-huh.
who, it's sort of like a therapy session, and they're talking, and
Okay.
he's telling, Craig is the character, is telling the doctor what he's been feeling.
Yeah.
So we go on, and a team of around five of us, including the actors, we
Wow.
went to shots.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I remember I had I have to mention them. They're amazing people. So JB was the producer and also actor.
Yeah.
We had Beatrice Moy.
Oh, I've worked with Beats before. Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
she's
Yeah, yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she was the doctor.
Ah,
Um,
nice.
I've worked with Benson Kuria Panther, who was my grips and lighting guy.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Jerry, who was my production manager, and I had Monica David, who was the set photographer for us.
Yeah.
And then I directed, I shot the film, and I also edited. So
Damn, all of that in one person? All of that in one toothpaste?
all of that. All of So I mean, we
That's
did
really
it.
cool.
I remember we edited. I edited for a week, and then once it was done, uploaded to YouTube. A
Yeah.
year on, JB finally tells me, "Hey, man, listen, this and this went down." Or I don't remember. I was kind of lost in the moment, to be honest. And he just,
I get it. I would be too, I think.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how IMDb happened.
So it's on YouTube. People can watch it on YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah. You can watch it on YouTube. Just search
Oh,
"Roses Are Red," short film. It's under Gitch Films production, and yeah, you'll
cool.
find it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, you've had that's the guest that I have today. He sounds good, doesn't he? So today we are talking about the film that has been causing a lot of buzz and talk in
Mm,
Nairobi, or rather in the industry right now. It's a
mhm.
series on Netflix and it's called Volume. So if you have not watched Volume, wow, first of all, you do not fall to peer pressure. Honestly, because it's been doing the rounds. Everybody is watching Volume,
Yeah.
especially during the Christmas season, like on 25th, people were just watching Volume. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what we'll be talking about today. Maybe you'll give us the synopsis of the film, Brian.
Oh my days! Listen,
Oh,
listen. Where do we even begin? Oh my God. So I'm probably not the right person to ask about the synopsis of the film, though I will try.
just tell us what
I'll
the
try.
film is about, according to maybe the Netflix blab or something.
Mm,
Yeah,
um,
I'll pick it up from there. Sorry to
I mean,
bombard you like that.
no, it's all good. It's all good. I'll try my best.
Okay,
I'll try to give it as much justice as I can.
okay.
Um, but yeah, so I guess, first of all, I struggled with what the story was about. I really did. Um,
Yeah.
because from the onset, it just, it looks like a story that is about a young artist, with a
Mm-hmm.
vision to the top.
Yes.
Um, but he's living in an environment where it's filled with crime, it's filled with gangs, filled with drugs, it's filled with sex as well. There's also
Oh,
that,
yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
and also,
On
you know
walls and stuff.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
also, um just the contrast of that is, there's also religion, which is a
Oh, yeah.
huge
Yeah. Yeah.
element in the film.
Yeah.
And and even something as beautiful as love. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was about an artist, a young artist who was aspiring
Yeah.
to make it to the top. Of course, inspired by his father, who was also a musician, and I guess
Yeah.
since he's trying to better himself
Mm-hmm.
from the mistakes probably his dad did. He's trying to better the man his father was, and
Yeah.
so I feel like he's also struggling with that pressure of making it to the
Yeah.
top in that
Yeah.
regard, but also trying to make a name for himself, and not
Mm-hmm.
make and all the challenges that surround that element.
Yeah, sure. So I think you've actually given us literally a synopsis. What am I saying? A synopsis of what the film is about. It's about a young artist who's just trying to find his way up, and there are a lot
Hmm.
of obstacles on the way. What did you
Yeah,
think about when you saw the trailer of this series? Because it's a series. It's a six-part series, which is
yeah, it's a
actually
sick.
becoming quite common with
Mm.
most films on Netflix. I've noticed like they're just six episodes and people are done. We're like, what? It was just
Yeah,
six.
for sure. I mean, they're kind of like, what you would traditionally consider miniseries. It's only that now it has
Mm.
a name,
Of
Um,
course, if you compare it to something like Grey's Anatomy, it's a joke. Grey's
yeah,
Anatomy has like what, I don't know, 20 seasons?
pretty close to
Like
that.
close to that, yeah. And now we just have one season and six episodes, and we don't know whether
Yeah.
there'll be more. We're not saying there will not be more. We just don't know whether there'll be more.
Actually, the element of making part series or mini series, if you like,
Mm-hmm.
the idea behind it is, no one wants to go to a cinema and hall and watch a 7 hour film, right? No one will ever do that.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, and I think I think it was established in Hollywood, if I'm not wrong, where,
Mm-hmm.
you learn from their previous movie making franchises, that you'd end up with, films like Lord of the Rings, films like Avatar that would be 3 hours
Yeah.
long, four
Yeah.
hours long. But then I guess they were trying to, with the advent of streaming platforms,
Mm-hmm.
attention spans of people have now become narrower.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah. Even
yeah.
like you can even tell from our TikTok videos, like it's 50,
Hmm.
like 3 seconds, 15 seconds, 10
Yeah.
seconds. Like it's that minimal. If it's 3 minutes, unless you've put like a snippet of a film
Mhm.
there, some people will watch it, but most will just scroll past it.
For sure. I
I
mean,
think that's trouble, sir. That sounds like trouble. I mean, before people could handle a lot all at once. Now we
yeah,
can't watch. Okay,
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
Crazy.
Usually there's a saying in, the film world is that, if you don't get your audience hooked within the
Yeah,
first 10, 20 seconds, then you're in
yeah.
trouble.
You're in
Because
trouble. They're
yeah,
out.
no one's gonna, if you don't get your audience hooked within those first few frames of your
Yeah,
project, then
yeah,
no one's gonna sit for 3 hours and watch your thing. That's why
yeah, yeah,
even the traditional, ways of making films, whereby you've got the three parts of making a film, which is, you've got the beginning, the middle, and the end. These days,
mhm,
people are,
mhm.
such that, you'd find maybe the end comes at the beginning, or maybe the middle,
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah. There was a series on Netflix. I can't remember the name,
Yeah,
where you could watch from any episode and the ending would be different.
no,
Did you watch
absolutely.
it? Did you watch it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you remember the title. Maybe I would.
I sadly
Uh,
can't remember the title. I didn't watch it. I can't remember the title, but I remember there was a lot of buzz around it earlier
yeah.
this year, maybe around June or earlier.
No, absolutely. A lot of filmmakers are leaning toward that kind of trajectory, and
Yeah. Okay.
you- yeah.
Does
So
this does the trailer of this film make you like? does the first 20 seconds of the trailer of Volume make you want to watch the film?
I guess I'll say this. I was as enticed as everyone probably was when they watched the first 20
Yeah,
that of that trailer, and
yeah,
uh, I blame maybe I blame it on the filmmaking aspect or the filmmaker aspect I have that I
yeah.
understand what trailers are about. It's cause a lot of hype around a movie.
Mm,
Bring the best parts most as you can without revealing too much, obviously. And
mm-hmm.
but yeah, I thought it was great.
Okay,
I
okay,
thought it
yeah,
was nicely put together. I thought there was really good music choice. Um,
yeah. The
I love
score,
the
yeah.
yeah. There was a lot of songs in that series. I don't even remember if there was an original score. Well, maybe
We'll
when
get to the
when-
part about
yeah,
the
yeah,
score.
yeah,
I know, I know. If we start right now, it's gonna
yeah,
be mad.
for
Okay,
sure.
so let's talk about the film. So we'll talk about the cinematography, the lighting and sound all in one aspect, and then move on to the next segment. Then
Okay.
we'll talk about some things, but let's start with the cinematography of this film, especially
Mm-hmm.
knowing what a good director Tosh is.
Right.
And from his past, Disconnect had like it was I think Tosh has just his way of making a film look beautiful. He
Absolutely.
concentrates most
Yeah.
on the feel of the movie. So it's really beautiful to watch. The colors, they're popping, they're
Mm-hmm.
pleasing to the eye. So I think for me the cinematography was good. Wasn't bad. It
Yeah.
was good. It was
Um,
okay. And the lighting and yeah, for me those two. I didn't know about the sound
no,
entirely, but I had no problem with it, honestly. What do you think?
no, I mean, when you say cinematography was good, I specifically cinematography, I'd say that is an understatement. I thought it was exceptional.
Yeah,
Um, it was really, really well done.
yeah,
I thought it was they exhaustively used the use of camera angles, movements, framing, and
yeah,
to tell
yeah.
to story they wanted to tell. And I thought in that department they did really,
They
really
did
well.
really well. Yeah,
The lighting. I mean, hats off to to the grips and lighting team. I thought
yep, yep.
they went above and beyond to
Mm,
light sets as well as they did, and to also make it look as natural as possible.
yeah,
Uh, and they even tried as much as possible to maintain a high level of consistency throughout the entire series. Like you'd
yeah.
look at a scene and be able to differentiate whether
Mm-hmm.
this scene from this other scene. And I thought they did really well, even in conditions where would be considered very hard to light.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether be it corridors, be it alleyways, be it a small dark.
Mm, dark
Um,
alley, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Or the dark room, like, yep. Mm,
the sound, however, for me,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. Listen,
Okay.
in some scenes it was done
Mm-hmm.
very well. It's clear cut and it's good. But then
Mm-hmm.
for most part of the series, I felt, okay, there were a lot of inconsistencies throughout, and you'd be able to tell. It was easily notable from
Yeah.
whether it was someone talking and you could feel the words come after or earlier, and even the
Mm,
syncing wasn't really done so. And I thought, yeah, this was definitely done in post production. Whether they
mm,
recording or
mm.
what's and yeah, for whatever reason, I just felt like sound didn't do that well.
Okay. I
Yeah.
guess since I'm not a sound guy, I wasn't able to tell. I couldn't tell.
Oh,
I'll rewatch it for that specific purpose.
oh,
I
I am bad influence. You should stay away from me.
No, no, it's good. It's good. Touch said it himself that he wants to know our feedback, whether good or positive. He said he's building, so this is the kind of feedback that he needs.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Hopefully.
it's good. it's positive criticism. Let's look at it like that
Yeah, it's constructive criticism. I agree. I agree.
for sure.
And let's go to the costume design, the makeup, set design. What do you think? I mean, this
Uh,
is sort of my
yeah,
department, so I have a
yeah.
lot to say. But let's hear what you think first.
I was actually going to say that. I mean, this is more of your department than anyone, but I think production design in any production
Hmm.
is everything. You know, this is
Yeah,
literally the
yeah,
department in charge of the whole world of that
yeah,
film or project. So I thought costuming was done really, really well.
yeah.
But I found it funny how
Hmm.
you everyone else around Benja, who's the main character, had
Hmm.
style. Like everyone
Except
had style
Benja.
except Benja. Now,
Yeah,
whether that was on purpose or it was accidental, I didn't
I
understand. It
I
makes sense.
know, I know.
It didn't make sense to me why someone like Benja's manager, the his friend, I can't remember his name. Um,
Castro. Oh my
Castro.
God. What do you mean you can't remember Castro's name?
Now listen, for reasons I will not mention, but Castro has drip for sure.
Okay, for
Castro has
sure.
drip.
Castro has, yeah.
Castro. Oh man, that guy is amazingly
He was
dressed.
dressed really
It's,
well. Yeah, Castro's character was really dressed well.
it's really good. But I felt like for Benja, man, I don't know. I didn't feel.
Like,
I didn't.
where did because from the what is it called? The intro,
Yeah.
every time it started, I'm like, why haven't I seen him in this clothes
Yeah.
in the intro? He looks good here. Give him this clothes. Eh,
Mm-hmm.
Give this man this clothes. Especially like during his performances, I expected drip. I'm like,
Right.
what is this boy wearing?
Right.
Nani
Right.
amevalisha huyu nguo? What are you wearing? Hiyo ni nini? But
Maze.
I was like, okay, maybe ni on purpose. Again, I sat down and thought about it. I'm like, maybe it's because he's still a church boy. I don't know. I couldn't place a
Mm,
finger on it.
mm.
But I guess we all expected Benja to also drip up, especially when he's also his Instagram, his social media started breaking up. I expected
Oh,
like he starts dressing better. But then I
right.
remember a line where Castro says, piga luku. I'm like, okay, basi ina make sense because inamaanisha he can see that Benja is not dressing up. So can you try work on your style? So maybe it makes sense. I don't know. I don't
It
know.
was now that you mention it, I was thinking because Benja was his manager, right? Um, the lady that did PR for him, he had a
Yeah.
PR manager as well. Maybe
I
he should have
Ivy.
considered, yeah, Ivy. Maybe he should have considered also hiring stylist for him.
Yeah,
That would, yeah,
that would have added to the story as well, but we'll get to that part. So, um,
makeup,
makeup. I think the
yeah,
makeup was actually really good.
uh-huh.
Both like aesthetically pleasing for everyone. That wasn't like sham makeup like some other films I've seen on Netflix and they're Kenyan. I'm like, how the hell did you get here? But for this, like the makeup and the costume for everyone else, like we've mentioned, was really good. Castro had style, like style. Even
For
when he
sure.
was just walking around in an alley, he had style.
Sure.
Ivy's
You,
character also had amazing style.
you,
And what was her name? Andrea, Miss. Oh my God. There was this
Andrea.
scene she was wearing like something like looked like Adera and some red boots. I was like, I did not know that could look good like that. I'll try that.
And still
You
look
know,
good.
like
She looked
yeah,
good.
and it still look good. I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
saying me? Ah,
Now listen,
I
for the
forget what we're talking about, but I felt like they were all dressed really well. Even the Sarah's character, what was her name? Mama Lucy.
Mama Lucy. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy. She was also dressed really good. I think the costume designer decided to maintain a sort of certain style for her, like a
Mm-hmm.
top inside with a silky dress on top, because most of the time that's kind of what she was wearing. So I was like, okay, not bad. It's stylish. It's decent. Like it's a church girl who is trying to stay fashionable but decent at the same time. So
I agree. Maybe maybe check your mic a bit. I feel like it's distorted somewhat. Is it okay?
Um, oh my God, it
Yeah.
went off.
Oh my days.
Oh my
No wonder.
days.
You
Let me
okay
get
now? Is
another
it?
one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
Ye-
perfectly.
Okay, let me just switch on another one. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want you to go
Yeah.
on for too.
For too long. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
back
okay.
now. Good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I would not have
Yo.
known. I'd have kept on yapping.
No, no, no. We got
Thanks.
to look out for each other.
Thank you. Where were
Right.
we?
Okay. Makeup.
Wake up. Yeah.
You know, I have a really interesting story about this. So
Mm-hmm.
I I I did, the first episode watching of Volume,
Yeah.
and I started seeing, these characters, especially the female characters, and how their
Mm-hmm.
makeup stood out.
Yeah.
Um, and without even checking the credits, without even checking who did what,
Yeah.
uh, it kind of just hit me, and I was like, you know what? This signature look seems very, very. I relate to it. Like I feel like I know it. You know the way you feel like you know something, but you just want to
Yeah.
go confirm.
Yeah.
So I had an idea of who could have done
Who did
makeup
it?
just by the signature,
Yeah.
and I was convinced it was them. So I go after to the credits, and I watch who did makeup, and turns
Yeah.
out it was the same person that taught me makeup in film school.
Oh
Um, and
wow.
that's and that's the talented, amazingly talented Joy Maringa.
Oh wow,
And
that's amazing.
I just that's what you talk about when people have like an aesthetic that's just defined for them. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
mm. Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
work speaks for you. Like I knew it was her without even before I could get to the credits,
To
and
the
to my
credit.
surprise,
Yeah.
it was her, and I thought that was
Yeah.
amazing. So of course she's amazing, man. She's amazing.
No,
Uh,
that's sweet. That's nice.
That's good. But I had a problem with the SFX makeup, special effects
Okay,
makeup.
we're going there. We're
Oh my
going there.
days. Oh my days.
Just talk about props, SFX all together. Like if they work together, what do you think about the SFX?
I felt like the SFX makeup could have done a lot more work.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate what they were trying to do, and I feel like, to the human eye, to the normal eye, the person that's not a filmmaker, it's absolutely believable. But from
Yeah,
someone that's, you know been there, done that, and also in the process of learning to do that, I feel like, it wasn't as convincing for
yeah.
small parts. But,
Mm-hmm.
props, credit to the people that provided props to that entire project. I feel like
Yeah,
characters
they did well.
engaged. Yeah, the
Mm,
character engaged really well and interacted with these props really well. I specifically remember the detective and his car.
yeah. Oh,
That's a classic. That's a classic. Whoever sourced that
yeah.
is genius. Is
I saw
genius.
the car
Like,
was like, mlikuwa na budget, guys. Mlikuwa na
oh,
budget.
I mean,
You know?
it's longer.
Hey.
It's money. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was really done well. Now the problem with that is,
Mm-hmm.
even though I appreciate them trying to create a different look, make it as though this detective, because he even had the hat on, the suit on,
I was
he
to
was
talk about this man's costume. Why was he
yeah,
looking like a fashion show cop?
he had more drip than Benja. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, this yellow suit,
He had
red
yellow.
hat. I'm like, sir, who gave you this clothes? Why?
Now this, I mean, I
You're a
appreciate.
detective for crying out loud. No,
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of appreciate what the costume designer was trying to do.
but
Uh, but I felt like it was a bit too much.
It was a bit
Um,
too much, for sure. It was a bit too much for a detective. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, credit to them for trying because I felt like they were trying to bring
Yeah.
out the old and the new, and they were trying to merge
Yeah.
it to, you know,
Yeah.
where uh,
Mm-hmm.
in that case, I felt like it kind of backfired because what you end up having when you do that is when you have that kind of contrast is you have conflicting um you have a conflict when it comes to
Yeah.
the setting of the film. Whereas
Yeah.
this film is a more modern based film, you're also trying
Yeah.
to one character to bring back
Mm-hmm.
the old feel about it,
Yeah.
about
Mm-hmm.
being a detective and whatnot. And I thought, I mean, whereas that would have gone any other way, it was okay. It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know why I forgot to mention when I was talking about costume. Yeah, this guy's good. I was just like, who's this guy? Because the first minute I saw him was like, okay, we have a new character, and
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
hear him talking detective-y stuff. I'm like, sir, are you sure that's your role? Did
Right.
somebody forget to cut
It's
this out? And I was like, aha, so you're the detective in those clothes.
hmm
Yeah, honestly, it didn't work for me because
right.
now I cannot fear you as a detective and you're wearing your hair wearing. Did you,
It's okay.
you,
It's okay.
yeah, and you're
Keep on.
wearing like a yellow suit.
Uh-huh.
Umevaa suti ya yellow unangoja nikuogope na unasema wewe ni detective aje sasa. You know, because costume is actually also really important in bringing out the
Everything.
character
Definitely.
of of
Yeah.
of the person, and also
Yeah.
helping the character himself get, like, the actor get into the character itself. So
Mm.
seeing him this way, and he's supposed to be a bit fearful, he was a bit
Yeah.
snug and
Right.
proud. Yeah. So I was like, maybe that's what the colors are trying to bring, but at the same time, they're really confusing. That you just look like somebody who does not know what his job is,
Right.
but got the job anyway.
And I felt
Yeah.
like he
Anyway,
he was smiling a lot of the time, whether that was intentional.
exactly. I
I uh,
guess
I didn't feel intimidated, if I'm being honest.
you couldn't. Why? He was in yellow. You couldn't. You couldn't.
The person that
He looked like
intimidated
a
me,
model.
right? The person that intimidated me was Terrence the Creative. You know the
Ah,
Karao,
yeah.
you
Yep.
know
Yep.
now,
Certainly. Oh, yeah,
now
that guy really did well. Yeah, I did not know he could act like that. I haven't watched his film. What is it called? Icon? Wash Wash?
Wash Wash. Me too. But I've been watching him,
I'll
and
watch
he's
it.
for someone who's
And
a
his skip.
comedian, he pulled
Mm-hmm.
off that character, being acting.
Yeah, like
It's
really
really,
well.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
We forgot about the set design.
Set design. No, before we even talk about that, I was gonna talk about props when it comes to
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
one last point. When it comes to the phones that people are using,
Yeah.
um, I do not understand why everyone in this film has a smartphone, right? I mean, I get it's the 21st century, and I
But
get, but listen, there's just something about how everyone in this film has a smartphone, how everyone in this film has their phone in their hands, and they're constantly checking their phones,
the phone,
and they're constantly just anything they're doing is just people can't stay 2 seconds without their phones, and
I guess that
whether
was part
that's a
of the theme of the film. I don't know, I guess.
I mean, sure, but then what that
But
does is it becomes distracting, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it just it takes away from what we should be feeling in the moment, and I felt like there's just much
Okay,
technology
okay.
going on. Yeah, but so set design, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a problem with this department. um,
Oh
I do,
God, I better
I do.
direct you onto my podcast. Here we
Oh,
go. Mm-hmm.
listen. I have a problem with them, not because they did a bad job. Quite the
Mm-hmm.
contrary, actually. I felt like the world they created for
Yeah.
Volume was visually outstanding. It really popped.
Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
But but I blame
Mm-hmm.
the direction and the people responsible for dictating how that world and how their sets would look like. Because I felt like it was too clean. Do you know what I mean?
Too clean.
Too clean. Kitu ilikuwa safi sana.
Explain.
That it
Explain
was.
more.
I feel because I feel there wasn't even a stain on the wall. There wasn't
Ah,
you know um I felt like even in places where you would not expect,
yeah.
um it was also too clean. Like places where probably the ghetto, whether it was
Yeah.
that scene where I don't want to give many spoilers away, but
No, just give
um
an instant of a scene. An instant, sorry.
right. So when Castro has been shot and is in lying on the couch at home after the bullet having been taken out in the
Yeah.
end.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I felt like that house, man, it was too clean, yo, too clean.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now,
You
now, now I see it. Yeah.
right? Expect
Yeah.
maybe a jug on the table, a cup on the table,
Yeah. Yeah.
some bloody curtains,
Oh,
some bloody cloths.
yeah.
It it looked like it never happened, like nothing ever really happened. And what that does is
Yeah.
that it doesn't give that organic feel about a
Mm,
film or about a
okay.
project.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
there's texture. There's no you can't even hold a grip to it. And I felt like
Okay.
it,
Okay.
it was it didn't feel natural. And honestly, I felt like I was watching an advertisement.
At that for that part.
No, no, for the entire project, I felt like
Oh
it was
God.
too clean, man. It's too clean. Even
Too clean.
yeah, even that part when the stage where his dad used to perform,
Oh yeah. Oh,
where
that part I agree. Apart from like the torn necks, you could
yeah,
tell.
I
Mm.
felt like even though it was an old site, it's never been used before. I mean, it's been a while since it's been used. I feel like even how that mess was supposed to look like was somehow organized.
It was an organized mess.
An organized mess, and it didn't feel natural at all.
Okay.
So
Mm.
I didn't like that set design. No.
Okay. Okay. What about the locations? Did you like them? Or
Um,
did you?
there were a lot of locations.
Yeah. Start with
But
Castro's house, Castro's apartment with the mom.
Castro or Benja,
Ah, yeah, Benja, sorry, Benja.
Benja, Benja and the mom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Benja and mom.
yeah, like the house was good. It
Yeah,
made
it looked like
sense
a family
because
home previously. Made sense, yeah?
yeah, it kind of suited the whole Benja's situation because his dad was a musician. He didn't really make it, but then they didn't really struggle so much. So
Mm, yeah,
it was sort of a middle class kind of house, and I kind of like that.
yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um.
Small's
Mhm.
house, Smalls.
Small's house, the bedsitter. Oh my days!
Yeah,
I like that one. I like that one.
yeah,
That one felt
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that felt right. That felt right.
I wanted to see the toilet though, like maybe a door or something, but it was a good house. Like it made sense.
Considering I wasn't on set, I don't know, but I assume it was a small room,
Yeah,
but they
you
had
could tell it was a really small room. They couldn't fit all
small
that in. Yeah, certainly.
yeah. But then there was also
Mhm.
this small detail behind Small's door. There was a poster of
Mhm.
disco. If you noticed.
Oh yeah, I noticed it and I was like, way to go, Tosh. Get
Nah,
another
come on.
advertisement on Netflix for free.
Ah, my goodness.
Whew.
What better way to advertise your film and your project?
Hey,
That was
what
totally
I
planned.
know I saw it and I was like, that's quite smart. That's quite smart.
Nah, that
Huh,
was good.
okay.
That was a tricky way of marketing. That was good. But
Okay.
I didn't appreciate. It was a good marketing stint.
Yeah, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
saying appreciate when they were talking about how they kept saying, "Oh, was it Lucy who got was it a job offer or a job
Quick
position at
math.
QuickMart?" I felt like QuickMart was
Quick math
mentioned a
was
lot more
right there in
time.
our faces.
QuickMart was
It
slapped on
was
our
the
face.
one at Mountain Mall, I think. It was the one
Ah,
at Mountain Mall. Because we saw
mm,
that like there was an establishment of the entry.
right, right,
I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
right.
there was a lot of quick match in that. These people, we could tell you guys the volume. Like you as you guys had a budget, 17 million, I think, from Tasca or something like that, according to the
Oh,
papers. I've been reading blogs about it. They had a big budget for it. So all these adverts, I'm sure you've raked into good money, Tosh. I'm sure. I'm sure.
they did, they did. I didn't appreciate
Yeah,
the scenes when they
yeah,
had like the club scenes, and then they had like bottles of Mizinga that were
yeah.
never. I was like,
And
what are we doing?
there was another. I don't know, rock show. I think.
Yeah.
There was a certain brand of liquor that kept popping. I can't remember the name now, but there was
Mm,
certainly one. So I was like, you also got money for this. I was like, okay.
yeah.
And like those were not the only two. There was something else because I noticed like three adverts. Quick Mart,
Mhm.
um, okay, when I remember, maybe I'll tell them to you later. But I remember some adverts that they mentioned. Quick Match, of course, being the main one there.
No, yeah, it
Then
stood out.
maybe like two others.
Right.
Now let's go to the part where you have been waiting for the
And
storyline, the plot, the
oh,
acting, and directing.
oh, man. You're going to hate me for this.
No,
Um,
we are providing constructive criticism,
man, where do we even
not
begin, man?
hating.
Man.
Because
Okay,
I think everybody has. I'll begin because I'm not sure
sure,
whether I have a lot to say about it, but I'll
sure,
begin. The
sure.
storyline. This
Mm-hmm.
film, like I said in the beginning, Tosh is very good at giving us something very appealing to the eye. We could tell from Disconnect because Disconnect was such a disconnected story. There was no story there,
That,
and I
yeah.
honestly expected better in volume because it's a
Mm-hmm.
story about music. it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I'm not saying it's easy, but I won't
Mm-hmm.
say it's hard. It's not
Sure.
hard to come up with a story that would build up all the way to the end. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell whether, like, we are certain from the blab this is Benja's story.
Right.
And there isn't a, like, the only conflict we know in Benja's life is he wants to make it in music, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels like other stories keep coming in and we don't know yet his full story.
Yeah.
It felt like this whole film was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of questions put together in one. So many rhetorical questions. Number
Absolutely.
one, where did the father go? Number
Yeah.
two, who are the six brothers? Number
Mm-hmm.
three, Castro. What else was he involved in? Number four, I mean, we know drugs, but I guess maybe that's being a bit unfair. I mean, from everyone else, I think Castro's story is the only story that was well told from beginning to the end.
Right.
Ivy's character,
Mm.
who I guess that was her mom being beaten by the dad. We wanted to see more about that. That would have helped build the story. Who was that fighting? Why did
For
she
sure.
close that door? Is that why she blogs, or rather vlogs everything in her life?
Yeah.
Andrea, what exactly does she do? I did not get it. I did not get what Ivy does for Andrea. Like,
Mm.
these are all things that could have built a very strong, good story for every episode. Because I believe every episode should have like a conflict where one is solved, and maybe now you come up with another, which will be solved in the next episode, and then you come up with another. For this one, the only conflict that came up and was solved was the kidnapping of that child.
Yeah.
And also, like, I did not think there was a strong like relationship between Castro and Andrea, for that
Mm.
child to be kidnapped and so that Andrea could go and save up. And then them
100%.
introducing Blessing Lungaho. What was his name? I don't even remember his name in
The
the
dad
film.
of the dad of the
The
film.
dad.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
why are you coming now? What is your purpose? Umevaa poa dad, unaenda wapi? What are you coming to do here? Okay, fine. You come to rescue the son. What was
Yeah.
he doing in Benja's show at the end of the film?
He came with
All
the
these
whole SWAT
things.
team. You know.
Hey, I'm like, what are you doing here? All this makes the entire film just a very big question mark. What is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to understand? What am I supposed to know? Apart
Hmm.
like from looking at it, I mean, basically, I know what most everyone watched it for is was because the colors were beautiful, the costume was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was a beautiful film to look at. Everything
Thanks.
worked apart from the storyline.
True.
Everything. The directing, the characters, everyone delivered. Except,
Yeah.
what is this guy called? The one that was in Pepeta? He was a model in this film. Hakuwa hata
Ah,
na line. Aliapia tu sijui once or twice. That guy has potential. Angepewa lines that are built into the story. But that
oh
was
my
mad. I
days.
was like, what are you doing here? Umekuja tu kusimama. Blessing lines tatu ni hivyo story imeisha.
Yeah.
Yo, it made me mad. I was like, where's the story? Where's the story? We came to
No,
watch this film for the story.
no,
So
for sure.
for me, the
I-
acting was good, the directing was good. There was no storyline, like no solid storyline that we could follow all through to the end.
100%. Listen, the basics to any story
Mm-hmm.
is, um, you know, having a proper storyline. Sorry, hata mimi
Yeah.
nimeanza kung'oa. Um,
Umekuambukiza. Sorry.
okay, it's having a proper storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the story of Nkatha
Mm-hmm.
meeting director Superman, and they're talking about
Mm-hmm.
the project volume series, and these are the
Uh-huh.
challenges between, and this is how they overcome these challenges, and then this is the end. This is the resolution.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like for this, in a case where credit to Tosh, I mean, this is a really ambitious project where you're working
Yeah.
with like multiple characters, right?
Mm. Mm.
And I saw his one of his Instagram posts where he's talking about Volume, saying it dates back to 5 years ago when he started
Yeah.
the process of writing it.
Yeah.
Uh, I felt like whether it's by design or not, having these characters, you
Mm.
need to give them a proper storyline, and as to how
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
different characters and their stories individually eventually
Yeah.
come each collide at the end, and
Yeah.
they merge, and how they affect your protagonist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I felt like there were characters whose storylines were blurred. We didn't really get to know a lot more about them. We didn't understand
Mhm. Yeah.
um, what their inception was, what their
Yeah.
purpose really was. And
Mm.
so it became confusing. And you've got
Yeah.
different characters who are stuck in different worlds or in the
Mm.
same world, and they're trying to find a way to fit in towards this. And I feel like what you write on paper or on a
Mm.
script eventually
Mm.
turns out to, on the screen, right?
Yep.
And I feel
Yep.
like
Yeah.
what we saw and what we saw about these characters was maybe what Tosh and the other writer, friend of his, struggled with, which is
Yeah.
trying to bring these characters together and
Yeah.
give them. I felt like they struggled with that.
Like
Um,
to give them enough water to hold, like
yeah,
so that
to
if
give them
I'm
meaning.
asked what
Yeah,
type, because if you're asked what type of person Andrea is, you'll just say Stan and she has a kid. Like there's nothing, you can't tell more about her career. What is she? Was she a music producer? She doesn't have a
right.
studio. We know she owns a club, but what does that club do for her?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
so I
she's
definitely
rich.
agree
So,
with you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Again, casting. If we could talk about that just for a bit, I felt
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
casting plays a huge part in determining the kind of characters you're going to, they're gonna tell you a story. And
Mm,
for me, I felt this is my honest review. Um,
yeah.
I didn't like Benja for sure for that role. I didn't
He's everybody's sweetheart.
because
You didn't like him? Why?
I told you they'd hate me for it. He's an amazing actor. Don't get me wrong, but then the problem
Yeah.
with it, that there were instances where you felt he's trying to big. You remember the scene where he's arguing with the manager of Smalls Quick Match, the guy who's always annoying,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah? And he's trying to stand up for Smalls, and he's
yeah,
confronting. I felt
yeah.
like Benja was a tiny bit shorter. He's got the
Mhm.
voice, he's got the bass, he's good, but
Yeah.
then
He's got
not
the
really.
it factor, as Andrea put it.
Yeah, but then
Hmm.
he doesn't quite have the build, the body for it. I mean, if someone like that stood up to me, I won't feel intimidated at all, to be honest. I'd probably be intimidated by the voice, but not the body, man. I felt like that guy, if he wanted to, as much as he was playing character, he could have easily taken out Benjamin. It would have been that
But I
simple.
guess, I mean, but I guess, like, for that scene, he got a bit scared when they pulled out cameras.
Yeah,
Like when Castro
yeah.
started recording. I think that's what maybe like stopped him. I kind of get what you're trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I don't know. I just never thought of it that way. Now I'm
No,
thinking of myself as that supervisor. Would this guy scare me?
obviously,
Probably not. Yeah,
no,
probably
he
not. I'd just be
uh,
scared whether
yeah,
he'd like ruin things around, like
yeah.
my perfectly arranged allies. Sorry. Oh,
No,
I
good.
get you. I get you.
Right.
But I mean, from watching him from Salem, this I
Mm-hmm.
felt like this was not exactly a new character for Boogie because in
Mm.
Salem as well, he's a good boy and then he's being turned to do like crimey things, like being
Okay.
involved in crime. So
Okay.
it felt a bit similar, only that this time his main love, like what he wants is music, which now that I felt was like a big thing for him. Now we're already here at the music score.
Let me
Benja
ask
can sing your shit, yeah.
let me ask you this. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If Faiz, right? If
Yeah,
Castro
yeah,
played the role of Benja, and Benja played the role of, Boogie played the role of Castro. If the roles were switched, who do you
yeah.
think would be more memorable for that role, for their role?
For
Um,
for
would you?
Benja's role,
Yeah. Do you think um, Faiz would play, or do you think Castro would be a lot more? Because if he's memorable playing a supporting role,
then he's
as
probably
Castro,
more.
imagine
Mm,
what he could do with the Benja
the
character.
main role.
You
I
know,
don't know.
whether that's down to the performer and
Yeah.
how they act and how he's a
Mm,
brilliant actor.
okay.
Um, arguably, it's difficult to rate actors. You can't really do
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like, if I is a better actor than Boogie, and I know that's controversial, but
That's
for
very
me that
controversial.
for me that's what it is. I felt like I remember Castro a lot more than I do Benja, to
But
be honest.
yeah, yeah, that's most people have said that Castro actually like I could tell this guy really put a lot of effort into his character
Credit
and
to
like
him.
like
Yes, to
he did
him.
well. He did well. We can remember everything about him. That's why I said I felt like his story was more pronounced than Benja's. You can
Mm,
definitely remember Castro from his story. His story was
mm,
more developed. It's a
awesome.
small guy who starts with petty crime and then he becomes, you know, starts
Yeah,
getting into trouble, has to lean back on the brother. So his story had more life. So it's easy to remember Castro for that as well.
100%.
I mean, definitely, I'm not saying he's a very good performer. Faiz is a very good performer. And I
Yeah.
feel like he's able to bring out his character more in villain roles, I think.
Yeah, he's more of a
So
bad guy,
I
isn't
guess I would disagree with you if whether he'd be able to bring out the character Benja better because it's a protagonist. So I
I
don't know.
I see. Well, it's
But this
a
guy,
topic for
he was
another day.
perfect as Castro.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the music score and the music in general, which is the main thing about this film. It's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the
Let's.
music.
Yeah,
Actually, it's about the music. It's about music.
it's about music. It's a
Hmm.
music. Um, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. Oh my days. Listen, I first of all have to appreciate that they used Nyashinsky's music. That was
Hmm.
dope.
Yeah.
Um, but then Benja's music,
Ugh,
I didn't like
such
it.
a bore,
Like
honestly.
oh man, the number of times I quit Netflix just because anytime he was
Performing, you're just like, especially
ah
the competition. When I watched it, the first film that came into my mind was,
yeah,
what was it called? I watched it when I was in high school. Empire.
Empire,
Empire,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I can still remember Empire songs to this day and I can sing them.
right.
That should have, like, volume should have, like, the music produced in volume should have had the same effect. The only thing I can remember is their theme song. It was really, really good. Honestly, it was really good. And it's terrible if people can only remember your theme song more than some of the songs like produced. Like the background
Ah,
songs were better than Benja's music.
I
Whoever was it. And then, yani, uko na Wangeshi na Barak Jacuzzi in your film
Maze.
and you can't even take advantage of that to produce a good song. Come on,
Do you,
man.
do
Come
you know?
on.
What pained me is seeing that scene with Barack Jacuzzi and this guy Benja is in the
Yeah, he's
studio,
seated there, like struggling
and
with your
then
Barak music, and Barak Jacuzzi is seated there. Come on.
Barack Jacuzzi is sitting there and he's nodding his head. He's like, "Yo, this thing
What
is
are you
good." I'm like,
nodding to
"Are you
Barak?
kidding me?
Unatudanganya why? Una
Are
nod
you
nini?
kidding me? Barack Jacuzzi was stooped that low. What's going on?
Hey,
What? How? Who's even vibing to
why? Why? I was just like, no, man. Because I'm sure this is everybody's sentiment about this film.
that?
Music, yo, like,
Z
one.
Z.
But how can background music be better than your artist music in the film? And
I
then
know.
you expected, like, with each and every performance, like the music would get better. I'm like, unajua, I actually thought simngetafuta tu rapa fulani a rap, this boy can lip sing vizuri sana, si it's acting, ange
Mhm.
lip sing na mwisho wapeane credit at the end of the film. He didn't have to sing, he didn't
Right.
have to. Me, honestly, I think Benja's acting was good, the music just ruined it for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nkata, just give me a sec, right? Just one moment. Hang on. Don't hang
Okay.
up.
Okay, sure thing, no problem. Well, as we wait for that, like, we're going to move on next to the controversial scene. Like, why would you make such bad music in a film? Ay, 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 ay. I'm sure most of you have these sentiments, and if you don't, damn.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
back.
okay. I was just
Sorry.
ranting still about the music. It's okay, it's okay.
No, I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with you and with us in general.
Yeah.
The music wasn't musicking, you know what I mean? Like, Z, Z,
Father, I know,
cringe,
Z. I was
cringe.
cringing the entire time. And then,
Oh,
no, let me
yeah.
talk about let's move to the controversial scenes. I'm sure we'll come back better to the music scenes, or
Mhm.
rather music in this film. But let's talk
Mhm.
about controversial scenes. And I'll go because I've just remembered one scene where I was like, what is that? Mrs.
Okay.
Menjo was Lucy's mom. And I remember her asking Lucy, where were you last night in church? At
Yeah.
night, yes, but I was with Benja. And
Okay.
Lucy tells the mom that Benja performed a song and it was nice. It was about Psalms 23. It was
Yeah.
beautiful, mom. And the mom
Yeah.
tells this daughter, it is your job. Since when would a Kenyan mom tell the daughter, it is your job to keep this boy in check? I was like,
Oh my
mad. I was like,
days.
wait. Hiyo ni nini nimesikia?
Man.
Hiyo nini nimesikia?
What? African moms. At it
African
is
mom.
you.
I'm imagining my mom telling me, Ati, it is your job to keep that man in check. What is that my purpose in life, mom? Is that my purpose in life?
Oh my
Hey,
days.
just Risha, I was like, get out. What is this? Get out. Get out.
Eh?
Ah,
Way that was
anyway.
crazy. And it's also it reminds me because there was a time Lucy was talking to Benja's mom,
Mm-hmm.
and Benja's mom was, Lucy was asking, was that kind of like advice, how did
Yeah,
Benja deal with Benja's dad,
yeah,
because it's more of like the same story, only in
yeah,
young versions of themselves, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because Benja's mom's a church going lady, and so is Lucy. Benja's dad
Yeah.
was a performer, so is Benja.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, I felt like Lucy was asking Benja's mom how she did it, and then Benja's mom was like, you know what? Because she was trying to be supportive and was trying to tell her,
yeah.
how she should support Benja. And when I remember Lucy asking something, and then Benja's mom said something about, she should join him on that stage
On
or
stage.
something like
I
that.
think she was joking because I remember Lucy's words. She said, I don't know whether to pray for him or jump on that stage and sing with him. And the
Right,
mom
right.
laughed and said, jump on that stage. You should go and perform
Oh,
with him. I
oh,
was like,
oh, it was a joke. I didn't
Yeah,
get it.
I
I'm
think it was
sorry.
a joke. I'm not so
Wow.
sure. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think it was a
Because
joke.
because if it wasn't, then it would be very ironic. Because in the end, she ends up kicking Benja out, the
Kicking
mom.
Benja out. Yeah.
Oh, please. I was like, what's going on here, man? What's
Yeah.
going on? Yeah,
Also,
controversial
I
scene.
still feel actually on that point, sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like there was no the motivation or rather the trigger to kick Benja out was not that strong. It was just
Mm,
part of the story.
no, I agree.
I felt like this mom, like you have
Mm-hmm.
been through this with your husband. So
Mm-hmm.
Benja has not done anything worse than your husband did.
a
I
hundred
guess there's
percent.
something like for her maybe to find Benja with some baby in the house, something very controversial.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Castro told me, nini, 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 so you can't stay here, pick up your bags. Actually, your clothes are in the trash bag. I was like, miss, did we miss anything? What happened? So that part of the story, I felt like there was still something missing for it to
Yeah,
actually like feel like, yeah, this is what a mom would have done. Kicked you out, like I can't deal with your shit anymore. Castro
correct.
alikuja saa ngapi kuambia mama ya Benja sijui tulienda msichana. If anything, the mom would have been sympathetic. So haikuwa inanimekea sense, ngole kwani Castro alidanganya huyu mama.
Yeah.
Hapo, I felt like there was something missing, like there was a piece missing for it to
Mm,
make sense for her to be able to kick out Benja the way she did, honestly.
mm, It
But I
wasn't.
like
It
the
wasn't
part where
just.
Benja, they meet up with the mom after Smalls committed suicide, which is another thing I am angry about. I'll let you
That's
go first as I simmer down.
that's crazy. Um, because last time we checked, we left
Yeah.
Smalls akiwa ameketi kwa rooftop,
Eh,
um, chilling, and then Benja was like, "This acha niende hivi na camp," or something
yeah,
like that. And
yeah.
then everything happens with Castro. He gets shot, nini nini, and then he comes back to
Mm,
the same spot he left Benja. He left
mm,
Smalls,
mm.
and only his phone is there. And Smalls died,
Yeah,
he suicide.
jumps to his
Which,
death apparently.
yeah, I felt like if credits to that moment because I remember Benja constantly kept telling Smalls one day, anaweza anguka kwa hiyo club.
Utaanguka hapo. Yeah,
Mentioned it. I thought that was a creative way of executing it. Um,
yeah. Oh yeah,
but
certainly. Yep, agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But
when, sorry for interrupting you again.
no, it's okay. I just wish that we would have probably understood or,
Why?
have gotten to understood why
Which is
why
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
we
Why?
sort of
What is
we
your
sort of
story?
yeah, we sort of have an idea, but then you can't really leave everything for the audience to think for themselves. You can't let us fill
Yeah.
in ourselves. I mean, sure, in other parts we can, but
Yeah.
for that specific reason, I mean, there was no I mean, I get it. He kind of liked Benja. Was that the motive? And that
What?
Benja kept giving Castro attention more than him, even though he needed
See,
attention.
like we can't all keep guessing. They should have told us.
Yeah, it's
They should
wrong
have
for
at
us.
least given us strong clues for us like to put one and two together. Now there's nothing to actually put together. And when
Yeah.
this point, Lucy's mom, Mrs. Menjo, says, after she gives that ridiculous speech of you, it is your job to show this boy or guide this boy, and says, I have
Mhm.
my next client, and then it Smalls. I'm like, what business does Smalls have in this school with this lady?
You know,
What has this
I didn't
lady done
understand.
for Smalls? I didn't get it. Yeah,
I didn't understand what this lady was about. She was Lucy's mom. She was the
yeah,
pastor, wasn't she?
yeah.
She
She was the
was
pastor's wife, I think.
pastor's
Or was
wife.
she the pastor?
She there was some point when Benja was recruiting, was being admitted to school.
Yeah,
they was mention of this lady being the principal. I remember
yeah,
that word. I didn't understand because is this a uni or is this a high school?
I
Uh,
know. Or a
the
college,
principal?
because I know there's varsities which end up having a principal instead of like a vice chancellor.
I
I don't
see,
know.
but
We also didn't get that.
right, and then it turns out she's also what, a psychiatrist. Is she
Yeah.
a therapist? Who really is this
What
lady?
is she? Who is she?
What does she do? And why? What? How did she end up helping? Smalls. What did she even attend the
Yeah,
funeral? But
yeah.
she did.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Did she? I didn't see her. Did she?
This
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
see her. I didn't see
I
her.
didn't see her. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But really,
And
I just felt like they didn't give Smalls had potential. Smalls had potential. Like his character also had really good potential. Because I also wanted to understand why his sexual life was the way it was. I'm
mm,
like, young man, why do you keep going back here? Why are you paying hookers? What are
all
you
right,
trying to get over? I also
right.
didn't get that. Yeah.
I didn't really. I mean, I could understand if Castro was the one doing that,
Doing
but
it exactly because from the trailer he talks about I want tits in my face,
oh yeah, that
sort of
was
thing.
facts.
So I was like,
Talk about controversial scenes, man. Wow.
yeah,
That was crazy. Listen, I I understand that we've come a long way as
yeah.
Kenyan
As
um,
Kenyan, I know I can't
films.
believe that right now actually people can strip naked. I'm like, okay,
Strip
we're
naked,
getting there.
just naked,
I
just
mean,
strip
I
naked.
have no problem with it. Like people can strip naked now. Okay.
There were days even cussing was a problem. You know what I mean? Like,
Kissing, like you just see people hugging, and then the
yeah,
next time you see them with a baby. I'm like, you want to tell me you people hugged, and then now you have a kid? Come
for
on.
sure.
And
Kissing,
it wasn't
cussing.
even like those hugs where they're very suggestive. It's just like a brotherly hug. So yeah, the industry has grown for sure in terms of sex.
Like, I feel like some of the scenes in that film, in that
Yeah.
project, uh, they were so controversial. They remind me of. I think the closest thing that reminds me of that controversial in terms of the Kenyan context is, remember that ad? Yeah. Oh my God. That ad. Yeah. Trusts, and then the lady with the condom, and then Anavisha, the umbrella guy, the guy with the umbrella. You remember that? No.
No.
Oh my days, I am old.
What?
Oh my
No,
days.
no.
I'm-
The one that I can remember about condoms, or rather HIV, no, it's
Yeah.
about condoms, is where
Uh-huh.
these two ladies they're talking and they're in the market. I think both of them are mamambogas or something. And they talk
Mm.
about one of them says, my husband is not attending to me or yada yada, but sijui nani, baba nani and take care of me. I'm like, you people are talking about cheating like this openly in marriage. I'm
No,
sorry,
wow.
I'm also like that, but yeah. And then she says, "I hope you're protecting yourself." So that's the one that I can remember about condoms.
There was one, and there were, people are walking down the street, and it's raining heavily, and then, this lady has this umbrella,
Mm,
and ile Porsche ya kuwekea umbrella ukitaka kufunga that kabag,
mm,
it kind of just
yeah.
goes away, and then this guy
Oh
comes
yeah,
out with,
yeah. I
you
remember,
know,
and the closing of that thing is so. You're
yeah.
like, oh, what are you doing? Yeah, I remembered it. Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
if you remember that one, you are old. That's
Shut
that's
up.
what it is. That's what it is.
Shut up. Shut
You
up,
remember
Brian.
that? Wewe ni mzee.
Uh-uh.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
ages are saying, shut up. We're moving on swiftly to our
Moving
favorite
on to
scene in
yeah.
this film. What is your
Uh-huh.
favorite scene?
My favorite scene?
Yeah.
Oh my days. Oh man. Um it's hard to pick out a favorite scene from something you didn't like watching.
Oh wow. What?
It's difficult. It's
Come
difficult.
on, just give me one. Just one. Just one.
Do you know the scene where um Benja's mom and
Mm,
Benja, when she finds Mama amempakia nguo and she's kicking him out.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I felt like that was the most natural performance, if even
Mm,
from that I saw for that entire. I
yeah.
felt like that was more grounded. That felt like an African mom with an African
Yeah.
son moment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm,
And I feel like I take that from the entire project. Like
mm.
just yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Funny because actually my favorite scene of them
Mhm.
is still like my favorite scene in the film is still of them at the funeral where the mom
Right.
says, I'm sorry about your friend. And I was really hoping that Benja doesn't fold. And she says, thank you for coming. I'll see you around. I think I would have reacted the same because you kicked me out. What do you mean now you care about me? I felt like that scene was actually also like really good.
Yeah,
It
that
was like a
response
coming
was amazing.
coming of age for Benja. Like
Yeah.
amekauka sasa, amekuwa amekauka. And also still also the scene that you have mentioned when the mom slid down the door crying, like I felt it. I felt sorry for her. She was doing something that hurt her, but she felt like she had to do it. And also I agree, for me those two scenes are quite natural, those scenes. And Castro's scene, where like utter like speech ya Castro, or rather like Lenza Castro, when
Yeah.
he's talking about
Yeah.
this day has just been shit, man. And he
Yeah.
explains what happens, but not
Hmm.
like giving a whole story, just in few sentences, but he tells Benja exactly what happened. I
Right.
Those are my favorite scenes for sure, for sure. And I loved the kid, Andrea's son, Jeremy Kuna. I watched him in Igiza and I loved it, or rather I loved his character. And also in this one, like he's such a cool kid. I love me a kid who can act. But I imagine how mtoto kwa sasa tunampeanga maziwa, namwambia sasa utaniambia hivi. So anyway, I love those films. So Brian, now it's time to give your rating on a scale of 1 to 10. Hello, guys. Am I alone? I don't know where he went,
I'm right
but
here, right here.
okay. On
You
a
were not
scale of
alone.
1 to 10,
Yeah. How do I rate
give
this
me a
film?
score. Yeah.
I'll give it a one.
No,
I
Brian,
will.
no,
I'll give it a
no,
one. I will.
no.
I will. Just out of the all the good things I've picked out of them, of this
Yeah,
film, I'll give
that's
it a
just strong enough to hold a one.
just one. Yeah, and that's being kind. Yeah,
Damn,
I
damn.
don't. That's how I didn't
You'll be
like it.
shocked by mine.
What's your rating? Surely can't go any lower than that.
It's 5.9.
Oh my days,
Yeah,
5.9.
yeah, it's almost a 6.
Why? Why 5.9?
It's a 6 in disguise, but it's a 5.9. I feel like everything worked out.
Okay.
Like everyone did their job apart from the scripting.
Mm,
And I can't really blame it like on the production. That's pre-production. And that is a huge chunk of the film. It should actually like take the whole 5.
for sure.
So yeah, because I feel like the editors really tried like piecing up the story to still give us what we got in the end.
You
But you
know,
could tell your
yeah,
story, man, like editors wako walijaribu kukupea story because wewe ile kitu ulipeana, stick to
absolutely.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
The editors
Mm.
saved only they saved that film. And also credit to whoever did color grading on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes. The
That
color grading was perfect. Villains in the Metropolis should learn a thing or two from this film about color grading.
I mean now I know what my next watch is. Um but just credit to
Yeah.
the editors and the post and the color team. I'd give it my scaling just went up. It'd probably be a 1.2. Yeah, just for
Okay.
those lines.
I can't get
Yeah.
it any higher, guys. I tried, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, then Brian, give me your conclusion, and then we'll do the outro, and it will be a wrap.
My conclusion.
Yeah.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I'm totally ecstatic that you invited me to do this episode with you. I haven't done a podcast in like a really long time. Um, Even though I have my own podcasts and
You have
shelving,
your own podcast, yeah.
yeah, and shelving podcast, check it out. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see your growth as well, Gatha,
Thank you.
as you know, from your first episode to now, this is your fifth. Moving on, hopefully, to even a lot more seasons going ahead, and
Yeah,
talking about nothing but film, and
yeah.
I think you're doing a really good job. Even these
Oh,
reviews, this
thank
is what
you.
this is what the film industry and film business is about. It's not just about we who make films. It's also about people like you who are out here promoting and also criticizing and also reviewing these films so that we kind of get the feedback we need so that we go
Yeah,
back and we make films even better than we
yeah,
think them,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, these films are for our audiences. It's for you guys.
yeah,
Um, it's for we don't make these films for anything else, any other reason. Sure, there are ideas that we have, but
yeah,
we want to share with you. Want
yeah.
to share that with you, and we just hope that moving forward that we can learn from this. Hopefully, a film I make will make it to your podcast someday, and then
Yes,
you invite someone else, and then they'll give it a 1.2
I
rating.
1.2,
And
a one, and then like I convince them, and then they give me a 1 point.
oh yeah, but it better not be Tosh because he's gonna give me a negative. I
Oh
understand.
yeah. Tosh,
Uh,
we don't hate you. We love your work. We just think that you need to work on the storylines for sure.
for sure, I'm
We
sure he's
do.
gonna. I mean, he has the, he has this feel about him, this magnet about him. He really has an eye for creative
Yeah,
visuals.
yeah,
He really,
certainly.
and he manages to bring the best of the best to work on
Yeah,
his.
on his
So
project for sure.
you'd only just work on the story just a little bit, and that will
Yep.
be good. That
Yeah.
will be, yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Brian. I know this was very spontaneous, guys. Honestly, this was not planned out,
Nope.
but I am really, really glad that you were able to join in.
Appreciate
And
you.
we have talked for 1 hour and almost 20 minutes. I can't believe we had that much to say, but
It,
we sort of saw this coming. We sort of saw this coming. So
we
thank
sort
you,
of did.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, sorry. I mean, it could
Thank
have
you,
gone on
guys.
longer.
We could have. I honestly we
But
could have, because there's a lot more still to say when we talk
for sure.
about film, because we haven't even talked about distribution, how these
Nope.
guys have done it. So but
Yeah, yeah.
we'll definitely have more episodes with Brian. Certainly,
Uh-huh.
Brian. So
Appreciate
this
you.
is me extending another invite. So I'm hoping you're going to say yes.
Gracefully accepted in
Thank
front of your
you.
beautiful audience. Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
that's why I had to do it that way, because you couldn't say no.
No pressure.
But
No
thank you.
pressure.
I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So thank you
Thank
guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. You can find my podcast. You can find the Unshelving podcast here on Spotify. If you haven't listened, Brian is an exceptional speaker. You have
you.
had him. Yep.
Wow.
And so moving on, you can find also my podcast on Spotify, on Google Podcast, and now on Pocket Cast. Um, Follow, share, subscribe. See you on the next episode next year. Bye.
Bye. Perfect.